When you log into a WordPress website, you're going to end up at the dashboard. This is about the most useless looking page that I could possibly think of in all of the WordPress admin panel. Depending on the permissions that you have, your menu of options will be a little bit different on the left, and it varies from website to website, and depending on the plugins that are enabled in that site. The big difference, however, is between posts and pages. And WordPress will put these two things together between the media library there. You'll have posts and you'll have pages. Pages are kind of what they sound like. They are individual web pages. And you might think, well, now hang on a second. Aren't blog posts web pages too? And it's like, yes, they are. Here's an example. Take my friend Andy at Orbit Media Studios in Chicago. This is his website at orbitmedia.com. The pages would be described as basically anything up here in the menu that is directly off of the domain name. So they do web design and development services. If you go to web design and development, they have a whole page about it, and it talks about, you know, what they do and how they work and what they offer and all their different services and a portfolio and all this sort of stuff. It's a pretty lengthy, robust page. There's a lot to it. And this particular URL just ends in web-development. And it is what we would consider a landing page. We would do the same thing for this website optimization. It is itself a landing page. We call them landing pages because you can imagine that there are people who would land on this website directly from a Google search, maybe from a LinkedIn post or from someplace else, that takes them directly here and sort of skips over the home page. Blog posts are a little more ephemeral. These are designed to be things that are topical. They're recent. They may have something to do with mostly driving traffic to the website. There's a lot of value in having a blog. It's how you improve the overall search rank on a website. Without it, you're not going to get very far. And these are all the things that are like how-tos and tips and techniques, what they're doing within their office, new staff hires. You can imagine all sorts of things that any kind of organization may want to write a blog post about. Blog posts tend to sort of fall into two different categories. They tend to be what we would consider evergreen posts, which are things that are topical and classical in their nature all the time, that they are relevant this year and next year and 10 years from now. And sometimes there are things that aren't, like this 2025 spam report, the abuse of trust in email and social. You can imagine that 12 years from now, that one's not going to be so topical anymore, that maybe we don't really care about what the spam issues were in 2025. But the blog posts tend to be something that are designed to be a little bit more oriented towards a single purpose and task. They are usually tucked under a separate URL like /blog. Sometimes they'll call this like news or insights or topics or some other word when companies don't want to just use the word blog. But that's what it is. And it's been this way for probably 20 or 25 plus years now at this point. Generally speaking, when a person lands on a blog post, they will do something with it. They will skim through it, like I'm doing here. They will read through it. They will take what they want from it, and they will close the tab and they will leave. That's not generally what we hope for when we talk about landing pages. When we talk about landing pages, we want people to do something specific. And that's usually like we want them to hire us. We want them to donate. We want them to buy something. And, generally speaking, landing pages will have a bunch of reasons about why you should do something, and they'll usually have some sort of call to action tucked at the top or the bottom of the page. It is very common to see calls to action at the top of the page, but it is a novice move to include a call to action for something that is kind of important that a person who just lands on the page is very unlikely to do. So a person landing on this page may reasonably be like, yes, I would like to explore the portfolio. And so they can come here and they can look at it. It's very unlikely that a person who has just landed directly on this page will immediately say, yes, I want to hire you right now. It's like, I haven't even looked at anything. This equivalent would be like if you walked onto a car lot and a car dealer walked up to you and introduced themselves and then immediately asked, would you like to buy this car? It's like, well, I haven't even test driven it yet. That would be a little much. People do this all the time, mostly because clients very often, or supervisors behind an organization, think that just sort of shoving the button up towards people will just somehow magically make them do the thing, and that's usually not the case. So that is the difference between landing pages and blog posts. For things like about pages, contact pages, terms of service pages, I kind of refer to these as infrastructure pages. They're just kind of a given. Every website has them. They need them for one various reason or another, like a contact page, for example. But they are usually relatively modest. They don't usually have a whole lot on them like this one does. It has exactly what you think it needs and not a whole lot more. They don't normally rank very high in search results. They aren't really supposed to. But they are a sort of page. We would, in WordPress, consider them to be pages. Just like we would consider Andy's web design or web optimization page to be pages. But when we're talking about the 2025 spam report, or, how to do, some new technique, we would consider these posts. And generally speaking, most of you will be working on pages, but it is possible that you have a blog post. And deciding where that goes is a little tricky. There's not a hard and fast rule behind it. And generally speaking, I tend to find that if it's relatively temporary or ephemeral, or has more of a, here's something that we're trying to share, not so much here's something we are doing so that way you do something for us, like buy or donate or whatever, then it's probably a blog post. If it's something that is core to your service or to your client service, then it's probably a page.